About 10 or 15 minutes before I go on stage, I do a quick little warm-up routine. I'm going to take you through most of it here. What I do is I start off by stretching, and this is a really good stretch for your wrists. And what you do is you keep your pinkies together, and you crank it one way. And this isn't really easy to do at first. I remember when I first tried this, I was like, holy crap, I can't do this. So you crank, it's like you crank your left hand in first, right through there, crank it back out, and then you crank your right hand in. And that's not super easy. And then, the next thing I do, this is an exercise that my good buddy Big Al Packmeyer taught me 12 years ago when I was playing with Death, and it's really simple and it's really cool, and it makes it just so you can just start playing immediately. What you do is you take your arm, keep it straight, and you start by just twisting, pulling your fingers back. Don't do it too hard at first because you might end up hurting yourself. It's a series of 3, by the way. Start it with number 1. This is number 1. Number 2, crank it down. Pull it, you pull all your fingers. You feel that right there. Totally feel that. Then number 3, flip it upside down. Crank it back like that. You totally feel it right here too. That's one hand. Do the other hand, get your thumbs in there. Number 1 is you crank it all back. Number 2 is down. Pull it, again, you feel that all up there. Boom, flip it upside down for number 3. Keep your arm straight. Hell yeah, I'm ready to play. Usually I just start doing some just simple rudiments just to get cracking, you know, just kind of break the adhesions of not playing for a while. And you can start by doing double strokes. Really simple. I just usually start just freaking out, really, you know. I like using the whole pad when I play, you know. Usually my pad bounces around tons. I never tape it down or anything like that. I like to use big sticks when I warm up. I used to play with like big marching drum sticks, and I kind of switched over after the Death Individual Thought Patterns album. I did those with big, huge sticks, and I just felt like there wasn't a lot of taste or feel. It definitely sounded like a bull in a china shop trying to do tasty stuff. So I only use them to warm up. Anybody who's ever followed my career knows that I have warmed up with giant leg bones. I have used 3-pound steel sticks. I'll use anything. I've had my same ankle weights I've worn on my wrist as I warm up. Anything to just kind of get that little cheating edge to make the actual sticks lighter. So I like using big old warm-up sticks. This is a good little exercise to kind of work your stamina for like blast beats or whatever. I just start doing singles. I watched a guy do this at a clinic when I was in Holland in 1993. I saw this guy doing this and I thought it was really cool because I couldn't do it. It was just this. That's all it is. You can keep it going as long as you want. You know, try to get it as long as you can go, you know. Like I can do this all day long. Like I'll just sit here, you know, kick back, check your watch out, use the phone, call mom, tell her you love her, call your girlfriend, tell her make some dinner. Try to get it going as fast as you can, you know. Try doing it together. That just starts getting your unison together, you know. It's like, if you're going to be playing extreme metal, there's a lot of blast beats involved. So, I mean, doing something like that with big old sticks is really good. You could do all sorts of different accents, you know, like accent the 1, accent the 2, or whatever that is. I don't know if that's accenting the 2, but it's something cool. and then just freak out a little bit. I'll get into a little bit later how I pretty much taught myself all my own rudiments. I've never learned from a book. You know, to start off, like you know, if you can read music and if you can write your own music, you're already a way better drummer than I am, because I don't do any of that. That's where I keep it. I don't know if you can see this on camera, but while I'm doing this, I'm starting to warm up my legs as well. And if you've seen the making of Alien, I explained on that the Dom Famularo technique that I use. I'll show you what I do for my legs. It's a really simple little exercise. And as I explained before, it's kind of retarded looking, but it's really effective. And while I'm wearing the leg weights, this is great to get your legs together. Do this exercise. It looks kind of foolish, but it's really effective to kind of break all the adhesions. You know, you kind of stretch out your feet, stretch them to the outsides, get them to the insides, and you just kind of dance around like that. Like, I'm a really lazy drummer, like, believe it or not. I like making everything really easy. So when I have to play long, hauling, stamina-filled passages, like, I'll wear leg weights up until I have to play that part. Like, for instance, when I was on stage with Strapping a couple of years ago, we had a song called Shitstorm. That was the last song in the set. And if you're familiar with that song, it's really hauling double bass and it's really gross. So I would play with the leg weights on for the whole set. I would take them off right before Shitstorm, and then you just fly. Everything's really easy. Like, the leg weights, like I say, they really help your speed, your stamina, your power, most importantly, your control. Wearing the leg weights is really good. When we were on tour on the Sounds of the Underground in 2005, we had a really short set. We were playing a festival type thing, and I just played the whole set with the leg weights on. And I would always have this like pile of drummers from all the other bands behind me going, "What an asshole, he does it with leg weights too?" And it's like, yeah, just kind of being a jerk, you know, so. But leg weights are really good. You take the leg weights off, you fly. When I first joined Strapping, I wasn't much of a blast beating drummer. Really about the only blast beat I had ever played in my entire life was when I was on stage with Death in 1993. We were doing a festival tour in Europe, and it was with Carcass and Cannibal Corpse, two highly blasty bands. And I remember, like, for all you YouTubers out there, you could probably find my first blast beat on YouTube, because it was filmed for MTV Europe for this big old special they were doing on Death. And there's a version of Pull the Plug by Death, and you'll see Chris Barnes from Cannibal Corpse is singing background with us. And just off the top of my head, I was like, wow, this is gonna be cool. I'm gonna try a blast beat right here. I didn't know what I was doing. So I blasted the hell out of this one part, and I get off stage, and I mentioned to Jeff from Carcass, who's a really sardonic motherfucker, I was like, "Hey man, did you catch my blast beat?" He's like, "Yeah, I caught your blast beat. Tell you what, leave the blasting to us." I was like, "Oh, okay, so I gotta improve that." So Byron Stroud from Strapping, he taught me this old hockey exercise that he used to use. And it's a really good one for getting your wrists together. So what you do is you take, like, this is a 10-pound weight. You can start with a 10-pound weight. I suggest probably like an 8-pound weight or something, you know, a little lighter. What you do is you just grip it at the end of your fingertips, and you just do curls with your fingertip. Old hockey exercise, and if you've ever seen Byron's wrists, he has tree trunks for wrists, and I would never want to get smashed in the face by Byron. Anybody out there who has been smashed in the face by Byron, you're probably not out there anymore. So you start by doing that, flip it over, and you do curls like that. And this ain't really easy right now because I haven't really practiced this in a while, but this is a good way to get your wrists together. Yeah, I'm way easier with the right hand. Do it like that, do it like that. My hands are a little sweaty right now, so it's hard to grip, but you get the basic gist. This goes along with the leg weights. I've really never cared to make it my forte to be the most technical drummer around, A lot of the old stuff with death was kind of technical. Some of the stuff I'll be showing you on this gets a little technical, but I've been way more involved with like taste and feel and just making things sound sweet. I love rhythm, I love drums, and there's so much inside the parameter of metal that, you know, when I grew up listening to double bass drummers like Dean Castronovo, Tommy Aldridge, Cozy Powell, like Tommy Aldridge especially, he's a really tasty drummer. Dean Castronovo, an extremely tasty drummer. He was way more about taste and feel than being the fastest guy, but he had great kicks, you know, he was a great double bass drummer. So I've always wanted to bring feel, taste to the whole thing. Being the fastest in the world, that's never meant much to me. I like being my own drummer. I like having my own style. I knew when I was growing up listening to Tommy Aldridge and all those guys, you know, Rob Reiner from Anvil, Rob Wacko Hunter from Raven, those guys were all my idols when I was growing up. From Neil Peart to Mark Craney to Sonny Emery to Terry Bozzio, all these guys. I figured if I followed that stuff and I just learned drums through osmosis, I'm going to develop my own style over the course of history, I guess, you know, and hopefully I have. So, tell you what, I'm going to jump on the kit here, my big, badass, Super Pearl SRX drum set, and I'm going to show you the rest of this warm-up stuff. Okay, so now we're on the kit. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to do some double strokes on the hands while I do single strokes on the kicks. Like single stroke, I guess they're 16th notes, doing like 30-second notes on the hands. It's a really good exercise just to get you started, warming up. You know, I'm still warming up here, so here we go. I'm just going to give it a crack here. The reason behind this exercise is to get your left tight with your right, and you know, your left upper with your left lower, and your right as well. A good exercise is to speed up and slow down both your hands, doing the double strokes, and your feet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of slowly, gradually speed it up, slow it down a little bit, speed it up, you know, get it up there, and just let it wave around and let yourself play with yourself. Play with yourself. Play with yourself as you get your control together with the upper and the lower. So I'm going to start it off again. Here we go. Rocking. I'm pretty warm. I'm going to start working myself around the kit a little bit. Like I've said before, I like using these big sticks just to warm up with, because when you take the big sticks away, you put your regular sticks in your hand, you fly. I always suggest to young drummers, keep the leg weights on and keep them on for as long as you can. Do this little exercise. This is what I always tell everybody to start. Do this little exercise, the double strokes with the single strokes. So there you go. See you in a minute.